Just saying, Jason. Okay, you broke news last night. You broke a big story. Tell us the story, first of all, and how it went down.
Kevin,
if you can.
Yeah, Kevin Love and the Cavs are finalizing a buyout. And, I mean, this was Shams drove most of this. I came in at the end and helped put some bows on it.
You closed the deal.
Yeah. I came in at the end and put some bows on it. Shams has been working on this for a number of days. It's been a process. I think everybody knows Kevin's out of the rotation. I don't think he's real happy about that. He wants to play. Kevin is trying to play next year. He's trying to play for his next contract. So
wow.
he needs to get on the floor and prove.
Do you see him getting another contract?
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, probably a league minimum deal at this point, unless he really turns it around wherever he goes. Likely going to be Miami. I think his mind, and that's Shams' side of the reporting on this, is it's Miami. A lot of teams came out of the woodwork last night when our report went up in the middle of the night. We started.
It's not going to take much to get him, right?
No.
Minimum salary.
And, well, I mean, whatever he gets from Team B will affect the buyout.
He'll be made whole by the buyout team.
It's exactly right. Yeah.
So we don't even know
I mean, the Cavs and Kevin still have to finalize those terms on the financials of what the deal is. So it's not done, but it's going to happen.
I feel like Kevin was done a little wrong by the Cavs in the last couple of weeks. He helped his team win a championship. Now, I know he's had some real bumps in the road the last couple of years.
Yes, he has.
But he's the last piece to this 16 championship. There's a love affair between Cleveland and Kevin Love. And I expected the team to come out and say more. They've said nothing. We just watched the games and he's not in.
Yeah.
And we know that it's a coach's decision. I just felt like they should have come out maybe before the trade deadline and say, you know, we're going in a different direction. We don't see how he helps us out. And we're going to not play him because we're trying to deal him. We don't want any injuries or anything. And they just said it's been radio silent.
Well, I think the team wanted to keep him. I mean, Kevin approached them. Like, Kevin's the one who said, like, all right, that's it. Like, I'm done. I want to go. Because he wants an opportunity to play.
Jason, didn't JB say he's out of the rotation?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So what else are the Cavs supposed to do?
Well, I don't ever remember JB saying that. He came out, he danced around it.
You know how these things work where I don't know what's said on the record and what's said off the record, but the Cavs made very clear to the people covering the team that Kevin's out of the rotation.
Okay, so like, what do they owe him? Well, they paid him this multi-billion-dollar contract, million-dollar contract. He ripped the team off. He's been terrible for the most part since he re-signed this contract.
You said earlier before the show started, it's fascinating. Cavs still won a championship without Kevin Love.
I believe that. Yeah, there's no way to know for sure.
No.
Because they would have made other moves.
No, I think they needed
him. I think they absolutely needed him.
All right, listen, it's okay that you guys are wrong, but that's fine. I don't mind.
Well, you're 3-1, so
I mean, I was with the team every day for 9 months, but I'm wrong.
Trust you.
You were busy doing other things. Who knows what you were
That's why I looked right to you.
Please. Please.
Look, Kevin Love wasn't the main cog. Kevin Love was a big piece.
Let's be clear. They could.
Gee, you think they couldn't have won the championship without Kevin Love?
Nah,
that's disappointing.
Because you got to look at the way they spaced the floor. He's exactly the dude LeBron said he wanted, right? And you can't, even when you go back and you look at, you got the shot, you got the drive. Kevin Love played defense for like 10 seconds in a row on Steph Curry.
So nobody else could have played that defense for 10 seconds.
It's his skill set. It's his open shooting.
Let's face it, his skill set is overrated. He was a guy who put up points on an awful team.
No, his skill set wasn't overrated.
But no, that's 7 years ago.
He was not stretching big, a 3-point shooter on the wing.
Yeah, but we thought he was a superstar when we got him. And he
Some people did, based on the numbers he was putting up in Minnesota.
They were
but
empty
a lot of
numbers.
people knew those were fool's gold numbers.
They were empty numbers.
No one thought he was going to do that here.
But he was the third option here, too. He didn't have nearly as much oxygen in the offense as he did in Minnesota.
Yeah, but then he became the number one option when they left, and he sucked, and he's been injured.
Kevin, the series against the Warriors, Warriors were a bad matchup for him. Like, the Cavs knew it. Like, the Cavs, that whole 16 season, were looking at the Warriors going, God, what are we going to do with Kevin? And then he got concussion. They brought him off the bench. So there was a lot going on. But the role that Kevin played getting them to that point, he absolutely cooked the Raptors. He cooked a lot of teams along the way. Like, he played a very important role in this whole thing. Was he a great matchup with the Warriors? Not exactly, but he was very important in getting them there.
But here's the thing. They would have beaten all those other teams without him. You know that.
No one knows that.
Well, okay, whatever.
We're guessing that.
Yeah,
Toronto,
so are you.
Three of us
We're
are
all
guessing that
We're all guessing. You don't think they could have beaten the Toronto Raptors without Kevin?
They were in Toronto's head. Like,
so if they needed him against
that,
Golden State, and he wasn't very good against Golden State, then why'd they need him to win it?
Listen, that Cleveland-Toronto series could be its own 30 for 30. Like,
yeah, I know there's a lot going on there.
Wild. That whole series.
And by the way, I disagree with also the premise that he's been terrible for the last 4 years.
Oh yeah.
Last year he was up to the contract.
But here's the thing. Last year
never given him that.
Last year he was very good.
But he was a $30 million six-man.
I get it.
But here's the thing. Jay just said before, everybody loves Kevin Love. We hated him a year and a half ago. We all wanted to kick his ass out of town. He was a terrible teammate. And then he turned it around. I give him that.
He had bumps in the road.
But 2 years ago, he was a borderline cancer, was he not? In the locker room?
You could be two.
Oh, there's
things
problems.
You could be two things at once. You could have a good year. You could have a bad year.
Like,
it's still you.
So, I mean, so let's go back in time. LeBron leaves. They don't know what to do with Kevin. He's got a year left on his contract.
Yeah.
There were people in the organization saying, do not sign him to this extension. And they did it anyway. They didn't want to go into a full-blown tank like they did the first time.
Which they did anyway.
They wanted, I know, but they wanted Kevin. They wanted a piece that they could say, look, he stayed. We can build around him. And I told Kevin, and I was a little bit wrong about this, but I told Kevin, you realize you're back in Minnesota. Like, you're back in Minnesota now. But the Cavs flipped this faster than I ever thought that they could.
It looked like he was back.
For a couple of years, he was.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of mistakes that they made. They've just been able to cover them and fix them this last year and a half or so. There was a ton of mistakes that the Cavs made those first couple of years after LeBron left, the Kevin contract being one of them. So he signs this contract, and he signed it because we had this conversation. It was probably more money and more years than he would have gotten in the open market. So that's why, I mean, his agent did a great job negotiating that deal. He signs this $120 million extension. He comes back, but he wants to win. Like, he's addicted to the win now. They won in 2016. Once you taste the champagne, you don't want to go back to beer. And now suddenly he's back drinking nasty beers.
That was a
on
bad
team.
Yeah.
And he didn't know how to handle that.
Yeah.
And he's admitted he didn't know how to handle that.
He mishandled it.
He did. He had a lot of blow-ups and a lot of situations that he didn't handle well. He wanted out. They would have gladly traded him, but he didn't have any value. And they were kind of looking at him like, well, play better. Like, if you want us to trade you, you got to play better. They were never going to attach any sort of asset of value to move his contract.
What's the end game for the Cavs? What do they get out of making this move now?
They are giving him what he wants.
That's it?
That's it. They're taking someone who has meant a lot to this organization, who spent 9. LeBron's been here 11 years. Kevin's been here 9. There's not much difference.
No. Like when you look at Kevin Love, you could go back and look at all the older players that the Cavs have already had. Man, he's arguably the third best player in the history of your organization. Like, it's not like come on, Larry Nance ain't better than Kevin Love. Let's be real.
He's not the third best player. Come on now.
Well, the game has changed. The game has changed.
I'm
Are you out of your mind? You're going to say he's better than Mark Price and Brad Daugherty?
Hey, come on, man. Let's be clear.
Come on now.
Let's be clear. How many All-Star appearances did Mark Price got? Listen, we got a love affair with people in this town that been playing in the 80s when we didn't have nothing else. Let's be clear. Kevin Love
there's some truth to that.
Kevin Love is established. He's an Olympian.
Kevin Love.
Hold on. He's an Olympian. He's 5-time All-Star, All-NBA twice. He averaged 26 and almost 14 in a year.
I do think he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Come
I
on
told
now.
Mike that this morning.
Like ain't nobody.
I don't think there's a question.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Based on just his NBA career, do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Because number one in basketball, they let everybody.
Everybody's in. It's
And number two,
everybody.
And number two, it's a whole body of work. It's not just NBA.
No, I know that, but I'm asking you a question based on just his NBA career. Do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I do. Because of he sort of reshaped the game and how we look at power forwards. He was one of those guys. He was one of the first stretch forwards. If you look at his 3-point numbers and his rebounding numbers,
yeah.
I mean,
I don't think. Do you think he was better as a Cav than Brad Daugherty or Mark Price?
It's different eras. It's hard to say. Like, Kevin was not good defensively. Larry Nance Sr. was spectacular defensively.
I get it. I get what
and Brad
Kevin Love was a 5-time All-Star as a Cav?
No, I don't know if he's a Cav because I know he was in Minnesota.
So that's a misleading graphic there, Mike.
But it's his career.
How many? No. You said he was a better Cav.
He is a better player.
You're including his Minnesota career?
He is a better player than Larry Nance and Brad Daugherty. I'm sorry.
And there's no way, but not as a Cav. I don't think there's a debate.
Well, to G's point, I think Kevin Love is going to the Hall of Fame, and I don't think those guys are going to the Hall of Fame.
They never going to slip the Hall of Fame.
But that includes college and other things too.
But what I'm saying,
if you're a Hall of Famer,
but wait a second.
You're a Hall of Famer.
You're including his Minnesota career.
Listen.
That's where he put up. As a Cleveland Cav, he was not better.
How long was he in Minnesota? 4 years?
He was in Minnesota from 2008 to 2014.
How many All-Star and first team All-NBA as a Cav?
2 All-Stars, no All-NBA.
I mean, come on.
But again, he's playing he's third wheel.
He's a third dude to Kyrie and LeBron.
Okay.
He's the third wheel playing with 2 ball dominant.
Agreed. And he was a very good player in his time here with LeBron. But G said he's the 3rd best Cavalier ever.
He might be the 3rd best ever.
To me, that only accounts his Cavs time, not his time in Minnesota.
I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, I'm just looking at the 80s. These
Mikey,
guys are.
where is he on the points list?
For Cavs?
Cavs all time.
Give me 1 sec.
He got to be almost. He got to be in the top 5 for rebounds.
I guess he's top 5 in both.
I mean,
He's probably top 5 and 3-pointers too. So
I actually just looked this up the other day. I should know, but I don't.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know where he ranks Cavs points all time, Cavs rebounds
this is
all
his
time,
215.
Cavs 3-pointers all time, which obviously
He's
is
9th
that's all
all-time in
meaningless.
points as a Cav.
okay. Who's ahead of him?
Go ahead.
Kyrie, Hot Rod, Bingo Smith, Mark Price, Austin Carr, Brad Dougherty, Big Z, LeBron.
Yeah.
what is he in rebounds?
I got to go a different website. Give me 1 second.
Let's go, Mike. Get on it.
It's not all on
Well,
one
good for
website.
him for being 2nd in scoring since 2015. That's a real impressive list right there.
And then you got to add that he won a championship. Like he got stuff that none of them other Cavs will sniff. They don't.
None of those guys played with LeBron. I mean, come on.
You got to think about this. He'd have been on the Olympic team. He got a gold medal.
That's fine, G. That doesn't have to. When you say to me he's a better Cav, the 3rd best Cav of all time, to me I'm only factoring his Cav.
I think you're
Kevin
punishing.
Love is 5th all-time in rebounds for the Cavs, by the way.
I think you're punishing him for the sacrifice that he made in the role that he took in coming here, where he could have put up a lot bigger numbers.
He could have stayed in Minnesota and got almost
he could have
27
had
a
monster
game.
numbers, and he wouldn't have gone anywhere and he wouldn't have won anything. But we could have looked at him and said, "Wow, look at all the numbers that he compiled."
And then we said there's those
Now he's
empty
got a
stats.
ring.
I know,
Now he's
but
got a
why
ring.
should I include? I factor that in. And you want to tell me he's a top 10 Cavalier of all time? Sure, I'm with you
Well,
there.
that's
I
no
mean, I don't
argument.
know.
Top 10. I would probably say you could make a case for top 5. Top 3's tough.
I think 5 at best.
I mean, does he crack the top 3 with his limited time here? And the way his time here ended, I think all that has to be.
I
Kevin
think
Love's also 2nd all-time in 3-pointers made.
Yeah, I would say he's got to be top 3 in 3-pointers.
Yeah, he's above Mark Price.
9th in points. Well, it's a different
but they
game
weren't
now.
shooting
It's
threes
a
back
different-
then.
I'm just
9th
saying
in
he's behind
points,
LeBron,
5th
above
in
Mark Price.
rebounds, and 3rd in 3-pointers.
There's no way I'm putting him ahead of Kyrie
That's
as
a
a
strong
Cavalier.
argument, though.
No, I'm not. I got him in the top 3. Kyrie, listen, no disrespect. No disrespect to anybody, but you know disrespect. Kyrie Irving.
disrespect.
Here comes the disrespect.
Kyrie Irving is better than any other Cavalier that has ever put
I
that
agree
jersey on,
That I agree
except
with.
for Mr. 23. That's it.
That I agree. The only argument you can make for some of the other guys is that they played for the Cavs longer. But I would agree. I would put Kyrie number 2.
Yeah, but
And then I would put Price and Doherty 3 and 4, and then maybe I'd go with Kevin Love.
and
5.
trust me, I'm not a Kevin Love cult follower. Like, I've been on him all the time. Like, I wanted to get rid of him 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But what I must say is, I can't strip his medals and say a man that averaged in this league 27 and 26 and 14 and take that away like, oh, well, just willy-nilly. Nah, man. Like, if I look at your stats and I look at Larry Nance's stats or Hot Rod and you ain't never had 20, that's hard to do. I can't strip him like that. He might not be a top 5 Cav, but I will say that Kevin Love, if he does not play with the Cavaliers, they're not winning that championship. He did a lot of good things in that championship. And I think the Cavs as an organization should have did it better. They could have came to him and said, listen, Kev, you're not going to be in the rotation.
But they did.
No. I mean, formally. They could have got him.
Don't you think, Jason, do you think they spoke to him or they just did this?
I don't think that there was a lot of communication involved.
All right, well, then that's bad.
And he
if that
deserves
happened.
better than that.
He should
That
have.
was my point.
Where you want to go, we'll get you there. We appreciate what you've done. We appreciate the contributions to the organization. Let's see if we can get you to a place and make it work for both sides. We'll do it before the trade deadline.
Nobody
Here's
wanted
what
it.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see him go to Miami and then we face up with Miami in the first round.
Cavs.
Because then he's going to go 11 of 11 from three-point range, score 45 points, and bye-bye.
I mean, obviously,
That's Cleveland lore. That's how it works.
the Cavs didn't really see a path to where he was going to help them anymore. They felt like he wasn't going to help them in the postseason.
Yeah.
Like they think he's done.
And I think that's a fair assessment.
I probably, I think he's. What's funny about the whole Kevin thing is, I mean, obviously I have. Okay, like let's be clear. I have not spoken to Kevin about this. Like I texted him, he didn't return my text. I haven't talked to Kevin in weeks. But I've obviously had a relationship with him for a number of years. And at the start of the season, I wanted to do a story with him on like what does the last chapter of your NBA career look like? And he was all for it. I was supposed to come back to the facility and do it like 2 days later, and I got there and he didn't want to do it. He's like, I'm not in that mindset. We'll do it later. We'll do it later. I'm like, okay. And then as LeBron's approaching the career scoring mark, I said, we're doing this massive podcast series at The Athletic on LeBron passing Kareem. And obviously we wanted Kevin to be part of it. I said, let's get you on that and let's do this other story on what the last chapter of your career looks like. We'll knock the whole thing out in 20 minutes. Okay, good. Then he wouldn't commit to it. He wouldn't do it. And now we're not going to do it at all. But he wanted to end his career here. Like when I talked to him at the start of the year, I said, isn't it crazy? Like you guys were staring at each other 2 years ago, waiting for the other one to die, basically. And now you want to end your career here. And he said, I know, it's crazy, but I would love to stay here. This is where I want to be. Like, this is what I always wanted. We got a chance to win now. We're winning again. This is where I want to be. But he also wants to play, and he wants another contract. And he feels like he's got more left to give. I talked to him a few weeks ago where he felt like the thumb was finally healed, and he said, I think, like, I'm really close. I'm going to turn the corner. It's coming. I can feel it. You just wait and see what these next couple weeks are going to be. And then it just never happened for him.
I don't blame him for wanting to play. I get
No,
that,
I don't either. And I don't blame the Cavs. Like, listen, JB settled on a rotation. They got hot. They were playing really well.
Yeah.
With his guys, he cut the rotation back a little bit, and they got on a roll.
Yeah.
So you roll with the guys.
I get it from both sides.
I have one last question because I don't know that we're going to even be able to get Jacoby in here in this 5-minute window before we have Jeb Trotter on. But here's my biggest fear. The one thing that I think he did bring to this team in the playoffs is obviously that veteran leadership, that stable voice in the locker room. I know Donovan's had some playoff experience, but could this be a situation where they start to look around in April and say, boy, it would have been nice to have Kevin's presence in here?
That's why they got Danny Green.
Well, I was going to bring him up. They have to see if Danny's got anything left. Like,
right.
They don't think Kevin's got anything left. Now they want to look at Danny and see if Danny's got anything left in the tank, because he can help that. I died a gruesome, awful, bloody death on the Mike Miller hill when Mike was here because I was pounding the table. Mike Miller is going to win them a playoff game. Never did. And one day, Mike was in his truck leaving the facility, and he rolls down his window and he goes, "Don't give up on me yet." And I'm like, "You better come through for me."
I mean,
and he never delivered.
At least it wasn't Darren Williams.
But I would have probably pounded the table again and said, Kevin Love can help this team in a postseason series. Like he's got the experience. He's not going to get rattled. He's not going to get shook in the moment. Like he can help them. And clearly the Cavs felt otherwise.
He's such a defensive liability.
He is.
Oh, man.
He always was. But, now it's worse than Larry.
If he's not making shots, he can't help.
There's no value.
Yeah, there's no value.
Okay, well, we wish him well. We wish him the best.